Morgenstern.
There are really two storylines to the book, and one of them gets a little played down, but it's just as important, and it's a story about a boy named Bailey who hails from Massachusetts, and he's from Concord, Massachusetts, because when I was coming up with the circus as an idea and kind of populating the story, I knew there had to be that character who sees it from the outside. There had to be the Alice to the Wonderland, the Charlie to the Chocolate Factory, the Arthur Dent to the universe. And those characters are always British. And why should only the British kids get to go to Narnia?
I started doing National Novel Writing Month in 2003 or so, and I failed that first try because the first time you sit down and you're like, I'm going to write 50,000 words in 30 days, around day like 5, you're like, this is stupid. And it just becomes daunting, and then you kind of fall behind, and I fell off the wagon around like 15,000 words. But in general, it was really good for me because I had spent years thinking I wanted to write, and I was sort of interested in writing. And I would write like a page, and I'd hate it, so I'd stop writing. And then the nice thing about National Novel Writing Month is you can't stop after a page because you have a lot more pages to write. So even just that 15,000 words that first try was a lot more than I'd ever written before.
And I was wondering if you use any particular cues to help sort of spur your imagination and descriptions when writing.
I think the descriptive factor, and I get this a lot, and in particular in regard to that section, I use scent. And I think a lot of writers kind of forget about scent as something to describe, and it's really very evocative. Like you say something smells like cinnamon and cloves and spiced cider, and people know what that feels like more also along with what it smells like.
This question came from one of our readers as well. I mean, one of the things within the book is it feels like it almost has its built-in fan club described. It almost lays out, if you want to be a fan of the book, here's what you wear. And the people came tonight wearing it, which is remarkable.
I did not realize that I was dressing my own fandom. I think voice is one of those things that gets talked about in a writing sense a lot, and I am delighted that it sounds like me. Like, even though I probably couldn't even remember what I sounded like in high school. High school sort of was plaid, Catholic school blur. And I think I found my writing voice when I stopped trying to sound like anybody else. And I think I did a lot of that. I was trying to sound like Neil Gaiman for a long time. And the NaNoWriMo like school of thought is usually, when in doubt, just add ninjas. But I didn't want to do ninjas, so that would have been fun. So I sent the characters to the circus. And the circus was immediately so much more interesting than those poor guys in their fur coats. So I abandoned that and just sort of focused on the circus. And then the next year for National Novel Writing Month, I just wrote about the circus. It still didn't have plot. Plot is not my strong suit. It was all these little vignettes, sort of backstory about the circus, different tents, like just kind of building the imaginary world of the circus. I did that for National Novel Writing Month in both 2006 and 2007. At the end of 2007, I had like over 100,000 words of circus stuff. So I thought, maybe I'll try to make it book-shaped. And sometimes people ask what I want people to take away from the book. And I always say, if you get a renewed sense of wonder from it, that I think would be the best thing to take away from it, because I think there's a lot that's lacking a sense of wonder nowadays, and I think just to have that little bit of whimsy or magic or something that like elevates your idea of what's possible in the world, I think just makes sort of everything better. The ever popular, what are you working on right now? I'm working on something that is probably best described as a film noir flavored Alice in Wonderland. I'm doing all my my sort of non-research. I am reading a lot of like 20s, 30s detective novels and drinking a lot of cocktails. And like I actually sort of I kind of faked the caramel corn because the dates are a little like they're a little fuzzy. Like I was like, I could conceivably use it in 80 something, but so instead I just have a character like pour the caramel on the popcorn. I was like, we'll invent caramel corn in the book. That kind of counts. And then I fell back on, if anything didn't make sense historically, like I went with Magic Circus.